here's the thing. When it comes to like, again, when we're out and we're experiencing a table, he's got such great attention for detail. You know, at work, when it comes to guest service, great such attention for detail. But something as simple as driving 62 feet and to make a left-hand turn into the exit of this parking garage, completely
I'm trying to,
oblivious.
1, navigate a parking garage I'm not familiar with. 2, read signs. 3, I'm probably playing Monopoly, go on my phone while I'm doing that. 4, I'm trying to put on a nice banger so we can listen to. And I'm also trying to babysit you and anyone else that's in the car with us at the same time. It's a lot to do.
I wrote the note down. Your quote was, I want to be a place where there's not a lot of people, while we were in the neighborhood during Pride.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
That was his quote.
Is that not a thing?
My notes I literally made while we were driving. Lou is dumb. Parking garage. So that was the parking garage story.
YUNKJunk!
What's up, Philadelphia? Welcome to another episode of the Supper Club Sessions. I am one of your hosts today, Lou Novak. We are joined by my esteemed colleague, Sean McGranahan, and our special guest today, Chef Joe Rocchi. How's everyone doing today?
Awesome.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
All right. We were asking earlier if we're allowed to fucking curse on this fucking podcast. So Sean broke cherry on that one real quick.
Fuckity fuck.
I can't wait to do these shorts.
Hey, let's jump right into it, Lou.
Let's do it, man. Let's
How's
talk
your
about
day
it.
off today?
Dude, let me tell
I
you.
didn't have a day off in the past 2 weeks. And this motherfucker has the balls to sit there and say to me, I was 7 minutes late. I was running from work. And this motherfucker who's been off today, had nothing to do all day, probably slept in, turned his phone off, which is a wonderful thing. And he has the balls
Still
to
sleepy,
say
man.
something to me about being 7 minutes late.
Well, I mean, for the first time ever, right? You were late for the first time ever? Is that what it was?
I'm always on my time. if the rest of the world would just adjust to it, I'm where I need to be when I need to be there.
You sound like me when I'm behind the bar and someone says you're in the way, and I say, no, anywhere I'm at is where I need to be.
I've never seen you behind a bar. It's weird.
You've seen me under the bar a couple times.
For someone who's in the restaurant industry, I've never seen you behind the bar or on the line.
That's because you're never actually in the restaurant.
I hate you so much. Joe, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. Let me get it right away. Fuck.
Hey!
So
now I feel like one of the boys now.
So, Joe, welcome aboard the Supper Club. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Okay. First, I'm Philadelphia, born and bred. Lived here most of my life. Was born here, Kensington Ave. And I love the name too, by the way, Supper Club.
Thank you. I did that myself.
That was you?
Lou
That was
had
you?
a bunch of different dumb shit.
Because that was funny. Lou took all credit for that.
He
Like
always
5 minutes
does.
before you got
He
here.
always does.
Exactly what came up
here.
when I put it in the AI search engine. So.
As soon as I got here, he said, Joe, this motherfucker's gonna be late, but let me tell you what, this name's mine. As soon as I got here.
I can't wait to strangle this kid.
But so after 2 decades working as a chef, I now teach full time. I teach at Franklin Charter. Wow, let me try to talk again today. Franklin Town Charter High School, and I had the great honor to teach Lou's daughter for the last 3 years. Great kid, great kid.
So much better than
He
him.
takes nothing like me at all.
In fact, I'll be honest with you. The last time I talked to her, I literally said, "Thank God
He's like Steph.
you're like Steph." Because Steph is a wonderful human being, and I do not understand. I'll never comprehend what the hell Steph ever saw in you, except for the fact that you were her boss at one point. And I guess she was like, I don't know. I guess I'll
wanna
let you. and 2 kids later, here we are.
Here we are.
Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, so now you teach at Franklin Town Charter, which I know for a fact, just from being in the industry, has one of the best culinary programs, CTE programs in the city. Very proud of it. I know you guys represented Philadelphia as the only school from Philadelphia at the Pro Start at Penn State, and I think you guys got a bright future in there. I know personally, I'm very supportive of people who want to go into the culinary arts, because this is a career I chose, as opposed to Lou. He wasn't actually capable of doing anything else. I actually chose to do this as a career. So I'm always excited to see when people are like, hey, you know what? I like that. And I love the fact that you have the mentality of like, you know what? I can help you with that. I love the teacher mentality.
Well, it's great. Yeah, it's great when you work with people that actually want to help and guide versus like, maybe some fields where people kind of feel like a sense of like competitiveness or a sense of like kind of like territorial, like this is mine. Like I love when you could walk into a spot and be like, hey, you're surrounded by people. Hey, let's help you. Let's all get better.
Yeah, that's actually part of the reason why I started to teach. I first came up, I learned a lot from some old school chefs, but I didn't understand the mentality of it. That, I mean, they weren't throwing frying pans at you to scare you. If you didn't duck, you got smacked in the face with a frying pan.
Mm-hmm.
And I did learn a lot from them, but I said to myself, I would never treat my staff that way.
Yeah.
And I also came up with a lot of chefs that were like, you couldn't watch what they were doing because they were like so scared you're going to try to take their job. And I had the opposite view. I'm like, teach me. And so I can learn, so I can understand. Let me teach this kid so he can learn. I somewhere heard a long time ago, don't even know where, that as an executive chef, I don't need to be the best in my kitchen. I need to run the kitchen the best. If my grill guy's better than me, I hired the wrong fucking grill guy. He should be better than me. Well, actually, I'm a great saute chef, so fuck that. But like,
and you're humble.
Yeah, a little bit. But that was always my goal, to teach other people. And somewhere along the way, I got the vibe that I actually do like this, teaching people stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I started seeing cooks come out of the schools that were paying $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, and they want to show me their weird truffle foam, which is cool, it's great, whatever. But when I was in charge of casinos, I would say, here's 3 ingredients. Make me something that makes me want to cry. Like, grab my heartstrings, kid. I don't care about your foam.
Or like, hey, the truffle foam is nice, but here, Can
you make a grilled chicken?
Make this grilled chicken sandwich consistently, and I need like 19 orders of it. Like, can you be consistent
500
and on
times a
time?
night? Make every single one of them taste great. Don't have 1 cent back raw,
Right.
1 cent back dry, and show me you can actually cook.
Yeah, see, listen, I love the fact that our industry has grown by leaps and bounds over the past 15, 20 years as people have become to appreciate more, the actual science and stuff behind culinary. And, shows like Hell's Kitchen and Top Chef and all these cooking shows, Gordon Ramsay and Tom Colicchio, all these guys, phenomenally talented, okay? But I think sometimes people think, oh, that's what it is, working in a kitchen. And I think we all know that's not. No. That's one-offs. And I mean, I remember on Top Chef, it was like, I remember watching one season, and it was like every single episode, it was like, here's my foam. And it's like, that's great. But like, what about like, what about doing something that everybody can enjoy? And it's not just like, it might not be the peak of all culinary science, but it guess what? It's good. It reminds you of something, tugs at the heartstring. It's got that flavor. It's got that taste, that really kind of makes you want to go back and get it again and again. And it's good to know that there's people out there that are educating the next generation on how to just, work in a kitchen.
I'll tell you one of my favorite meals, which does change day by day depending on my mood, but spaghetti with garlic and oil. 3 ingredients.
Oh, yeah.
And either you do them great and they're beautiful and I'm in love with you, basically, or you do it wrong and I want to kill your whole family. I really do. I really want to fight your entire family. And
Good to see there's a good balance there.
You've destroyed my day. I'm going to think about 9 hours from now and be like,
Luke,
true back
Luke,
of
can you make Joe some spaghetti with garlic and just make him that dish real quick? Because I have a feeling that...
Real quick, don't fuck it up.
I have a feeling that, like, Uncle Sean's going to have to move in as, Anyway, that's the thing. But we talk about this a lot, how much we just love this industry and we love everything that goes around with this industry. And sometimes it's the simple things. It's not the over the top things, but it's the simple things. It's consistency.
Yes.
It's putting that, like, there's certain dishes that, like, when I have that bite of it, it takes me back to a certain memory. We had some potato salad the other day. Simple dish, potato salad. I took a bite out of it and I really thought of my mom's potato salad. And it was a simple potato salad. I mean, we were Irish, there was not that much to it. But the simpleness of it. My mom's baked macaroni and cheese. We made a big macaroni and cheese for a special, and it was a simple dish. And some people thought, it's a little under seasoned. Some people thought I needed. I took one bite of it and it threw me back to like Wednesday nights grating the cheese for my mom, thinking that I was like a chef, and it just had that taste. And that's the experience that I love. That's the experience I love to get when I have something that can take me back to a memory or take me back to a certain time that and it brings up all these like thoughts and emotions. That's why we're like when we go out, like, you know, when we go out to eat, like, you know, there's certain things I really look for, and there's certain things, you know, I want to experience with it. And, you know, yeah, of course I'm gonna be disappointed if I don't get it, but at the same time, like, I'm not, doesn't take that much to wow me.
That's why we always say consistency, because if it wasn't always the same growing up as a kid, you wouldn't have that immediate thing. Like, I think of my mom's cucumber salad, right? It's a basic ass, you know, dish to make, but it was always a side. But like, you know, me and Katrina will always, you know, like anytime we have it, like, oh, it tastes just like mom's cucumber salad.
I'm
like,
going to sound like such a complete
Shout out to Katrina.
food dork here. Whatever you're making, make it with pride, make it with love. Like, actually put some soul into that dish. Make, you know, like, care about the people eating this. This is food's food,
that's
but
a key
it's
point.
also
I don't mean
an
to interrupt,
experience.
but care about the people eating it. It's not just like, hey, I want to make like this dish because like I want to look cool, but like, who's eating it? If you're making like a really nice foam, but you're surrounded by people who don't give a fuck about that and aren't going to eat it, then why are you making it? If you're, you know, make something that you're cater to your audience.
We had a chef we just recently worked with who you know, we you know, when you're sitting there, we were coming up with new menu items, and we were trying to, like, you know, okay, well, what about this? What about that? And we came up with the 10 commandments. Well, he came up with the 10 commandments of the food
good.
item. And I don't have them memorized.
I'm going to record this.
But I don't have them memorized. But
they're on two tablets.
I could tell you, the last item in number 10, which was the most important, was,
Whiteboard,
are you proud of it?
Yes.
Are you
Shout out
proud
Chris
of it?
Shelley, Chef Shelley.
Chef Shelley, I tell you, he put it down, and the funny thing, it was like eye opening, because it always takes that fresh set of eyes to sit there and like remind you, like you know, like the basics, right? And it was like, you know, you could go down, you know, the menu cost, how it fits in, pictures, colors, all that type of stuff. But it really came down to that one thing, and it was in big bold letters, and I left it up on our whiteboard. Are you proud of it? You know, and that's really what it all comes down to. And I think you know, I think there's a lot of kids out there these days. There's ones that really do go above and beyond, you know, Emily being one of them, you know, but like there's a lot of kids out there these days that like, they want to put something up, they want to put it out fast, or they want to put it out, you know, with the foam or whatever. Like, are you proud of that dish?
I'll tell you what, I'm going to really brag on her for like the next 30 seconds. Okay. So our school, we go up to the PA Pro Star. For those of you that don't know, it's the high school statewide championship culinary arts competition. Franklin Town Charter, it's our first year. It's my first year too. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing there. All right. I'm like, I'm just trying to learn too. Right. Emily, one of our 4 kids that go. We had this dish that we all thought about, made. We get there. We did not, I don't want to say we, they did not finish in time, which was fine. The compliments that we got, because those 4 kids held their composure. They didn't just throw that shit out there like, oh, we got to hurry up, it's done. They knew, do not put this on that plate until that's right. Make sure I can stand back and forever say, I did my best shot. I'm proud of this dish. It gets what it gets. That's what I got told by the judges over and over. Like, we can't believe your kids did that.
Well, I can tell you this from
that.
an outside perspective. You know, and we kind of joked about it. I was invited to be up there, and I didn't. And then all of a sudden, how about this? So, you know, Lou and I worked together, and he says, oh, I need off for this date. Didn't tell me what it was for, okay? And I'm like, all right, yeah, no, make it happen, whatever. And then all of a sudden, I find out he's at the Pro Start event that I was invited to be a judge, and I didn't, but I did speak to somebody who was a judge there who singled out Emily.
Really?
And said that they saw Emily, they saw her compete, they saw her lead the team, they saw her just say, let's go, let's go, let's go. And I was proud.
She made me, you know, listen, as a father, and you know, she finds different ways to make me proud every single day. You know, shout out to Emily. I will say this about the team itself, and this is directly reflective of how you've taught them as well. What got me, and what I kind of like made sure that I follow up and said to Emily and some of her teammates was like, we had the CEO for Hershey, or the guy that ran like, you know, the culinary. But he came over, and you know, he wasn't even talking about the quality of food at all. But he's like, the way you guys all worked as a team, knowing you're behind. He's like, they're the types of people I hire at my restaurants.
Shout out to Fritz, because Fritz actually told me that. So there you go.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's when you have again I hire people because of these qualities. That's what you got to look out for.
Yeah.
And it's just so amazing that she came from you. But
That's something that
Well, listen, me and Steph always talk about. Steph educates them and makes sure they've lived this long, right? I culture them. I'm the one that shows them cool shit and makes them nerds and spoils them and gives them some good food to eat at younger ages so that no one that they ever grew up and meet in life can ever compare to the memories they had with dad.
Awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
Emily, she also burned herself that day too.
Oh yeah.
And I was so proud of her. Not that she burned herself, but listen, in the kitchen,
Battle
for
scars.
everybody watching this, you will get burnt. Okay, you'll get burnt. You'll get cut every day.
I got burnt.
I burn myself 5 times a day. I'm not even
I got
at work.
burned when I started working with Sean.
But she
I
burned
got
herself.
burnt when I hired Lou. So I mean,
She burned herself, dropped the duck breast, which, by the way, one of the judges told me is the best duck breast they saw that entire day. But she dropped the duck breast. It happens. Hot duck oil hurts like a motherfucker.
Fatty protein.
Splashed her. She looked down, groaned, took her glove off, put a glove back on, went right back to work. I'm not allowed to talk to them during this. Later on, I came over and said, kid, let me see it. I said, listen, I understand what you're doing. Second this is over, go get seen. She didn't stop. She went right back to work. The judge was like, I think she should go get the thing out. She was like,
I think you should shut the fuck up and get out of my way.
you should get out of my way so I can finish this duck breast.
Hope this judge could duck a frying pan.
But she did great. I was so proud of them kids. I mean, because the kids, like I said, they didn't stop. Did they get done on time? No. First time there, they didn't put anything on that plate that they couldn't step back 20 years from now and say, I was proud of that.
Stand by that. Yeah. Great.
so all right. So listen, we talked about that a little bit. So Supper Club. Introduce you to the concept behind it. So Lou and I, we've been friends for a few years. I don't know.
Somehow.
Way more than I actually want to admit to. And we like to go out. We like to entertain ourselves. We like to have a good time. We like to bring people along, show people different experiences that we like, create new experiences. We went out about a week or two ago. Okay. And we went out and we almost became a bad experience. And we're not going to name names of places we were at, but we made a reservation for a place. We show up on time, early actually.
Early. Both of us and Sean.
I was actually on time.
And Sean.
Yeah. And they said, what did they say? Sorry, we don't have the table.
Yeah. So, and listen, there was the baseline of the reservation, which is just the reservation itself. Then there was the fact that in the notes, we do have I know we're a little pretentious, but we do have our table. When we go to this one establishment, they always have one table ready for us.
We've been there plenty of times.
They know who we are.
Yeah.
Right. So we had the reservation, which is the basis of this. And then, can we have the table? So we walk in and it's an 8 p.m. reservation. And it was, hey, sorry, we're the reservation is not going to be anytime soon. We hope to have you within an hour. And I'm like, okay, thinking let's grab some drinks in the meantime or something like that. And then the table wasn't going to happen either. So listen, we're not going to name names because the place has actually been pretty good to us.
Yeah.
This was definitely a hiccup.
It was a nice night. It actually wound up raining a little bit after we left the area, but it was the restaurant was down in the neighborhood, and it was the first week of Pride. There's a lot going on. Okay, so we understood that there's a lot going on along around the city. Well, my buddy Lou here, he's a very anxious person. And we realize we're standing there and we're looking around at all the different other restaurants in the area, because there's plenty of other restaurants. We checked in at one. I tried to green palm them into a table, and that didn't work. And then we were looking at a couple other places, and we even said let's just get a drink at a bar.
Let's get
I had a day. He had a day. We were just let's just go do. Our friend who was with us had a day. We were like, let's go do something. And he literally said, okay, but I need to go to a place where it's not that crowded. I can't deal with a crowd right now. As I'm looking on
shoulder to shoulder.
Right, but we're looking around the street. We're looking around the street.
Oh my God.
And we're right there. There's probably 7 places that were within view of us. I said, and there's people running all over the street.
The lines to get into each place are almost converging into one line.
And he had the gumption to say, I can't be any place too crowded. I looked around. I said, where do you want to go then? Because it's not going to be here.
It did make a call, though.
So we did make a call. We made a pivot and we will give a shout out to where we did go.
WN Mulherons and Sons.
Mulherons, one of our favorites.
Never been there,
Masters.
actually.
I passed by it all the time. I've never
Wait
been.
till I tell you about the experience we had. But then, so okay, we made a pivot. We said, all right, let's go Mulherons. Okay, Lou, he drove. Okay, where you parked at? I don't know. Let me GPS it. He had the GPS to
All
where
right.
where the parking garage
I'm
was.
not.
So I said, is it that garage? It's right in front of us that says parking garage on the side, and it was.
I had to check my phone first to make sure I was still following the blue line.
So we go to the parking garage, and you know we you have to prepay, and then you go up to the car. We had to find the car. He literally had to walk around with the you know hitting his alarm thing so he could find the car.
Like, where the fuck's my car?
So
Beep,
then,
beep, beep, beep.
So then we're in the parking garage, and we're like literally like driving out the exit. He's like, I don't understand this. Mind you, you're in the parking garage to exit. All it is left turns. You just keep making left turns until you can't make a left turn anymore. And
is it? Because it wasn't.
It was. It was, but then he went straight, even though it said exit.
I'm just saying there are signs.
Big signs, huge signs.
Not huge enough.
Exit. They have the gate where you see the gate that goes up and down, and he blows right past it and says, "I think I missed it." Yeah, you fucking missed it. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Why is it a grown ass man has who here's the thing. When it comes to like, again, when we're out and we're experiencing a table, he's got such great attention for detail. You know, at work, when it comes to guest service, such attention for detail. But something as simple as driving 62 feet and to make a left-hand turn into the exit of this parking garage, completely
I'm trying to,
oblivious.
1, navigate a parking garage I'm not familiar with. 2, read signs. 3, I'm probably playing Monopoly, go on my phone while I'm doing that. 4, I'm trying to fucking put on a nice banger so we can listen to. And I'm also trying to babysit you and anyone else that's in the car with us at the same time. It's a lot to do.
I wrote the note down. Your quote was, I want to be a place where there's not a lot of people while we were in the neighborhood during Pride.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
That was his quote.
Is that not a thing?
My notes I literally made while we were driving. Lou is dumb. Parking garage. So that was the parking garage story. And I want to be a place where there's not a lot of people while we're in the neighborhood. So that was. So then we went to William Heron's Sons, and let me tell you about this. You know, and actually, I'm gonna pivot to Lou because Lou will be able to explain it well. We went there. Number one, the service is always phenomenal.
We've been going there since 2017.
Yeah. Whatever. Like right after it opened.
Yeah.
You went there first before me, and then you brought me there afterwards. And
Real quick question, guys. Do you guys have a hard time turning the business off when you go out to eat?
No. We usually bang it out in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it takes like a 5-minute conversation to be like, we're not going to talk work, but blah, 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 blah.
No, I mean, like when you're looking around, like, hey, is everything set right? Did this happen right? Did this happen right? Do you have a hard time turning it off?
I don't judge.
I'm not a manager guest.
Yeah.
I'm not the type of guest who's like, hey, man, my fork's on the wrong side. Like, what the fuck? Like, no, that doesn't bother me.
When we go out and you know, we're not that we're any special at that, but when we go out, we do want a certain level of service. We overpay for that service. If we don't get it, yeah, sure, we'll notice that stuff. But I'll be honest with you, far more of the times when we go out, and maybe it's just because of the presence that we have or like the way we conduct ourselves.
I think people know we're in the business when we come in. And so
that becomes apparent. Yeah.
They know that, like, all right, I know we're good with these guys. Let's make sure.
Matter of fact, I think we probably put a lot of the servers and bartenders at ease because of that. They don't think, oh, they're in the business. Let's get really like our asses tight and like be like, you know, high and fluty. It's like, they're cool.
Right.
They're one of us.
Like when you order a glass of wine. But
or a bottle of wine.
Yeah, so like when we walked in, we sat down, we got a table right away. It was it was actually probably one of the better. It
was a great place. Yeah,
and our server was great. You know, they Hayden, yeah,
shout out to Hayden.
And
that's how good we were. Remember their names.
We listen. I take notes. I take notes because it's like, you know, well,
that's because you have a bad memory.
I do. You're
like the movie Memento. Like, did I kill anyone? Check the tattoos all over my body.
Some people call it blackout.
No one's seen Sean's ex-wife in a long time.
Some people call it blackout. I had a stroke though, so I have a crutch.
Oh, you have an excuse.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that is the thing I'm gonna ride till the day I die. So we sit down at the table and we're trying to figure out what to drink. And him and Sam, who was with us, you know, they're getting some kind of beer. I'm looking over the wines and I'm like, okay, this looks good. So I put the order and I said, you know, I'll have a bottle of the Montepulciano. And he goes, okay, all right. And I literally turned to Lou and
Before, yeah.
Lou was like, did you just say bottle? And I was like,
Right, I said, I'll have a beer. And Sam's like, I'll have a beer. And like, I'll have a bottle.
I'm not gonna just drink
financially
one
makes
glass.
sense. And you know you're going to drink the whole bottle.
Thank you. Well, next time, Joe, you're coming out with us. Fuck Lou.
I ordered too, but whatever.
So I ordered, and as soon as they said that, I was like, you know what? I'll bet you the way he reacted to me, I'll bet you he's going to bring me a glass of wine. And he brought me a glass of wine. I was like, did you hear the bottle? You know,
I know the bottles are made out of glass.
and then all of a sudden, at that point, it was like, oh wait, do you want to see our wine list? And then it was like,
But
can
dude,
I?
like, he knew his shit too. Like he knew exactly what to say, and he was actually sending out some good wine too. Right?
I had a banging bottle of wine, and the second one was really good too. And the 3 La Bambas, they really hit the spot.
So the La Bambas at
What's La Bamba?
Mulherion's is the name of their espresso martini, which it is the end all be all. It's the starting point and ending point for espresso martinis.
Can we say
in the
it
city of Philadelphia?
was?
Well,
They don't.
they have different versions of the La Bamba. It was always La Bamba, and then they came out with the 2.0 La Bamba, which I actually like. It's got
Tell
a
me
little
more
bit of
about that. I would like to learn about
It's got
that
a little
right
bit of
now.
mint leaf in it, which is to me opens
Shaved
up
chocolate.
Yeah,
it
opens up the whole flavor portfolio of the espresso. I find
They have the espresso machine
Some
behind the
people don't.
bar, so it's not just like you're getting espresso.
you're not getting Kahlua.
Yeah.
You're getting espresso martini.
It's legit.
Slow drip.
But I don't know if you remember this.
So
They don't have La Bambas at all anymore.
No, they didn't have them that night. They ran out of the
I thought they took it off the
They ran
menu.
out of the Miletti Cioccolato, or however you pronounce it.
Okay.
So they didn't have it that day. And then the bartender who was behind the bar remembered us from a year ago because we had a 5-top and real number ordered 30 of them. So he's like,
That
I know
sounds
those
like a good
guys.
night. That
He's
sounds
like,
like a
I
good
know those
night.
guys. So he made us a La Bamba just using random ass ingredients to come up with something super similar to the authentic version of it.
Oh, wait. What just went through my head is you told me how many of those La Bambas you ordered, and I'm thinking at 4 in the morning when you're still wide awake, you're not drunk anymore, but you have so much caffeine, you're like, where are we going? Where are we going? Where's the barbecue joint open right now in Atlantic City? Let's go.
We're going to Crown Fried Chicken at 4 a.m. right now and getting bulletproof glass chicken.
Have you ever gone to Crown Fried Chicken?
Absolutely.
Phenomenal.
And like under the L? 100%.
Phenomenal.
But specifically at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Cotman Ave by 5 points. I hit that one a lot back in the day. Yeah.
If it's not, listen, if it's not after the after hours places close and it's not from behind bulletproof glass, I don't want it.
Yeah,
That's how you just know it's good.
Yeah, it's like listen, a poppy hoagie. I mean, poppy shop hoagie.
Yeah, like I you know, what never gets enough justice is when people talk best cheesesteaks. Like, yeah, Pat's, Geno's, whatever. I get that. Angelo's, Bar John, Steve's, Cafe Carmel. Go to a corner poppy store and get a cheesesteak. Salt, pepper, ketchup.
That's my favorite place.
Fuck me up with that, dude.
Yep,
All day,
I agree.
every day. Fuck me up with that.
You know what's weird? When I go out to eat, this is weird. Everybody thinks because you're a chef that all your friends are chefs. No, none of my friends give a fuck what I do. My wife can't. She's the most plainest eater in the world. Doesn't eat anything
like my brother.
Remotely like a chef would. So they were always like, you're a pain in the ass to go out to eat. I don't think so, because I'm always like, look, whether it's seared foie gras or fried bologna with cheese, I just really want
fried bologna cheeses.
Steph does like fried. I love fried
just
bologna.
make it right.
Yeah.
Just give me what I asked for. That's it. And it doesn't have to be super pretentious. Like I said, fried bologna with cheese, you do that right. We're best friends. We're hanging out tonight.
I just saw a TikTok where someone smoked bologna that I never would have thought to fucking do, like just like a thick hunk of it. And it looks just so fucking amazing. It just became so fibrous, and it almost made it like a pulled pork sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
So
back in the day
fucking
on
good.
this. Emeril Lagasse from like 20 years ago, right? Takes
bam.
a whole fucking bologna, carves it down the center, rubs mustard into it, hits it with brown sugar, and then throws it in the smoker. And
Say it slower.
Oh, sorry. that was my knee. I
Like
swear.
the Randy Marsh, like South Park episode. Yeah, did you rub it? I'm gonna deglaze the fuck out of that right now.
Shout out to South Park. I love that show.
Tomorrow
so
morning,
much.
I'm going to go buy a bologna. But
fried bologna sandwich is phenomenal. But that's the thing. You're right. Just do it and do it well. You know, and that's kind of what we look for when we go out. But shout out to my hearts. What was that thing we got? It was
They had this pork and it was I don't know the name of it. If I hear it, I'll remember it.
What's the pork that they do in Spain? Like the leg.
The way he described it was like the Wagyu beef. Iberico, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
He was like the Wagyu beef of, I mean, I was even breaking his balls. He's like, they're grass fed, they're massaged.
Yeah.
I'm like, do they have a nice family life? Like, I'm asking about the pig. Like, what was his favorite show? And it came
Was he happy
out
when he died?
Yeah. I'm happy he died because it was one of the greatest fucking pieces of meat I've ever put in my entire mouth. It came out like a ribeye.
Yeah.
Like literally, it had
Like
like a fat cap, a sear. I've never had a pork that came out like medium to medium rare before. Like that's how, dude, it was.
I'm so fucking hungry.
That's why sometimes
Amazing.
we talk about this a lot when a server goes to your table and it's like, I know what I want.
Shut the fuck up. Let him talk sometimes.
We let him tell us the special, and the two of us kind of looked at each other like,
well, we're doing that.
yeah, I'm gonna make love to that. And man, did we make love to that.
Like, and listen, we usually have our go-tos because I am usually that guy. Sometimes with me, like I sometimes fall into that trap. Like, you know, we go to Alpen Rose and like, now I'm getting ribeye.
Yeah,
like, you can tell me, but we have this. I'm like, I'm good.
We're gonna get the bacon, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So we usually get the spicy John and we usually get La Bambas. And we even said when we got there, like, hey, let's mix it up a little bit. So then when he's like, you want to hear a special? I'm like, yeah, fuck it. And then he starts talking about it and we're like, oh yeah. Like, I'm gonna fuck that up.
I'm gonna make love.
Maharan always does a phenomenal job.
Yeah, and we had a fun night. It was a good night.
For Moharans.
Do yourself the favor.
But that was a good example of sometimes with our business, like, you know, things just get, you know, it goes so fast paced and you're dealing with all kinds of bullshit. And that's one of the whole points of what I enjoy most about our friendship is that we do this little supper club thing where we're able to sit there and to get back to your point, we're able to turn that button off. We're able to turn that button off and not talk about work. I mean, you know, we literally, it might be a 5-minute catch up of like, hey, did you hear about this? Like, just like today when we showed up, you know, because Lou was off today for the second day in a row. So, I mean, it's a good thing.
2 days off.
He has a great boss
tomorrow.
He's got a great boss, obviously, who just, you know, like really cares about his livelihood, you know.
While we're on the subject and while I'm trying to shut Sean down from speaking, this does, you know, give us a good opportunity to talk about like, what are some things we do when we are off? Yeah. I know we talk shop a lot. I know we talk, you know, like the ins and outs of the business, whether it be front house, back house. But Sean, give me like, you know, we just kind of go like, you know, I guess counterclockwise. You know, you're off and you are, you know, off the grid. You know, how are you decompressing?
It usually is a sleep in, you know, just because I don't get a chance to sleep in that often. I usually just kind of take it easy. Like the little details of the day are the things that I like doing, a little minutia. Sometimes it includes like, you know, maybe I'll go out for lunch with a friend, go out, you know, make some dinner plans, have some cocktails or something like that. Sometimes I just, you know, I love cigars. I love bourbon. I'll go down to Smoke Cigar Lounge and have some bourbon and smoke a couple cigars and just chill and veg. When
vegging's underrated, by the way.
People
think it's like brain
for
rot.
Me, it's really important. It's really important, you know, and that's why like a lot of like the TV shows I watch or stuff that I can be mindless about, you know, and even sometimes like just like I remember one time like a friend of mine, good friend of mine, a couple weeks ago, she just said something and she reminded me of the Three Amigos. Okay, classic, 1985 classic, and. I watched The Three Amigos and it was 2 hours of me not thinking about the world. South Park. I could turn on South Park. You know, I'm a nerd. I'll turn on like, you know, a Star Wars show or I mean, you know, MCU's gotten a little out of hand since Endgame, and I think that's a kind of a consensus. But like I'm really a nerd at heart, and sometimes it's just like, but what I like to do is the most mindless things possible. I like because you know the day-to-day life that we live, there's a lot of responsibility, there's a lot of stuff that goes on, there's a lot of decisions that need to be made, and I like to have the least amount of responsibility possible on my days off.
One of my favorite quotes from American Beauty. When Kevin Spacey's character is like, you know, he's coming from corporate life and he's just, you know, his wife's banging her yoga instructor and he just applies like the fast food spot. And the kid's like, you're overqualified. And he's like, I want as little responsibility as possible.
That's kind of like what my days off are like. I want to be able to just unplug and not have to sit there and make a single decision that impacts another person's life besides mine. I want to sit there and enjoy myself. You know, sometimes I'm out with a friend. Sometimes I'm out with a lady friend. Sometimes I'm, off the grid.
Out with two lady friends.
I mean, I have some friends, but I mean, and Luke can actually attest to this. That there's times where I almost like get yelled at by people because they're like, they're worried about me. Like, where are you at? What are you doing? Like, I have to share my location. There's one person in this world right now who has my location, and I'll tell you this, just so you know, it's Lou's sister. But that's almost like a security thing, just to make sure, like, hey, they know that I'm alive somewhere.
Keeps everyone shut up.
But I literally, like, I like to go off the grid. To answer your question as a whole, I like to go off the grid for the day.
Yeah.
I like to have the least amount of responsibility. I like to make no decisions. I like to catch up on, like, even just little things like doing my laundry. It's nice and mindless for me, you know. I get to snuggle with my cat. I love playing with pussycats. So I mean, it's a fun thing to do for the day.
On that note,
what about you, Joe?
For me, I had to learn to have other interests besides the business.
Okay.
I truly think that if you're going to be good in this business, you do need to be fanatical, especially in the beginning. It just needs to be your passion every single waking second. But at a certain point in time, especially when you have a family and stuff, you get to the point where you're like, yeah, I just need to chill the fuck out. So I do a couple different things. One, I have learned to have other passions. I ride a big old motorcycle that's loud. I like doing that.
What kind of bike you got?
Harley Davidson.
Oh, no, but it's like, dude,
it's a 2005 XL Custom. It's a Sportster, 10,000 miles on it when I bought it. Great price. I fell off it when I first got it because
I don't know anything about motorcycles, but I just like when people know what they like. That's all.
I think in motorcycles, I think black and chrome, 70s, 60s. That's what I like. That's what my great uncles used to pull up on. They were the coolest fucking people I ever met in my entire life. So that's what I think of when I think of a bike. That's what my bike looks like. Black chrome. It's got some gold on it because it just came with gold on it. Yeah. Whatever. But I like riding my bike. I got about 10 years ago, and this was weird because it brought me into a whole nother, like, almost side business. I started researching my own family's history and food. So I'm Native American on my mom's side. Even in culinary arts college, I'm like, hey, what about Native American food? They're like, what the fuck's that? There wasn't a Native American food.
Right?
Yeah. Basically like corn, pumpkin pie, Thanksgiving.
Buffalo.
So I started researching this, fell into this giant trap hole on it. And especially my tribes from the East Coast, when we talk about like Jamestown, Pocahontas stuff, that's actually my tribe. We're like this big, really small, because we had the colonization so long ago. But led in this whole other thing. Now I'm involved with nonprofits, with nutritional food, food sovereignty for native cultures, stuff like that. We actually just got a $438,000 grant.
Pretty good.
Not a little bit of money.
A little bit of money.
Yes.
A group that I'm involved with called the Powhatan Confederacy, where we're doing nutritional, culturally relevant food, setting up the food chain for school kids.
I love it.
So that takes up some of my time when I'm not actually working. I do have a wife and kids, so sometimes I'm like, listen, I just want to be with my kids. I want to do stuff with my kids, do stuff with my wife, because I'm not working 90 hours a week anymore. Thank God I teach now. You guys are fucked. Anyway,
summer off guy over here.
Any kids that I know of, so I'm pretty good.
A grill cook, so if you need something to do for 2 months,
yeah, right.
Sometimes though, I will get up and be like, yeah, I'm gonna make this great meal today. Other days, I'm like, yo, make an oatmeal.
No. We're not going to skip over this. Tell us about this morning, Joe.
Oh, I'll be so happy to tell you this morning.
I am so jealous when I heard about his morning.
First, I slept in because I didn't have to wake the fuck up. Slept in, got up. I'm going to make some... Oh, and I'm hooked on Death Wish coffee.
Okay.
Jesus.
Most caffeinated coffee in the world. And it's not acidic. It's very nice and mild.
Death Wish coffee, for anyone, it's know how like back in like the 80s, like you used to say like, hey, I need some... like coffee later, but coffee definitely meant something else. This is the closest you could get to that that's still in a coffee form.
You You did that?
Well, in the 80s, no, because I was 6.
So
Like, how old are you?
You're 7.
Like 91, yeah, absolutely.
But so Death Wish coffee, I grind up the beans, put a little cocoa powder in there, and not that cocoa powder.
Cocoa powder in the coffee.
Pure maple syrup into my coffee. Got some smoked country style pork ribs the other day. Heated those up. Had some. It's kind of a quasi Native American food, fry bread, bannock, stuff like that. Heated up some of that, put some butter on it. 11 o'clock in the morning, I'm sitting there. I got bourbon coffee with maple syrup, barbecued pork, bannock. I'm sitting on my couch watching Battlestar Galactica.
One of us.
Yeah, it's
One of
not
us.
a bad day at all.
Beautiful day, beautiful day. I later took a nap, and I still got here on time, by the way. Took a nap later on.
Definitely one of us. He might be replacing you.
It was
yous.
definitely a great day. It was definitely a great day. And I thought about what I'm eating later 15 times since
Okay.
because I am a chef and I can't.
What's
do
the plan for later?
Spaghetti, garlic, and oil.
Yes. Also, popcorn. I'm a popcorn fanatic
Oh,
because I realized a long time ago I can make real popcorn and make it taste any way I want to make it taste on the face of the planet. If I want spaghetti and garlic oil flavored popcorn, I can do that. It's a glorious thing about being a chef. Also, it's a horrible thing because you're surrounded by food at all times.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want, but then also you're like, I gained 20 pounds in the last 3 weeks, and I don't
Like
understand why. I recently went to a conference for Native American stuff in Arizona. I ate no less than 7 times a day. My friend Troy that I was out there with,
About second breakfast.
he would actually look, yes, Hobbit time completely. He would actually look at me like, you're going out to eat again? You're still hungry? I was like, I haven't been hungry in 4 hours. But I'm still going
Still
again.
going out to eat.
I'm still going. Like,
Wait, I'm not hungry. I'm just sad. It's
I eat my feelings. But no, I was like, wait, no, I tried it from here. Now I need to try it from there. I try it from there. I'm going to get the best of it. You ever see that show? Used to be on Food Network a long time ago. Tyler's Ultimate was Tyler Florence.
No.
no.
Okay, well, he would actually go across the world and stuff. Like, let me go to Italy and try ragu bolognese there. Then let me go to this little food truck North Jersey that's doing ragu bolognese. Then let me go over to San Francisco, try ragu bolognese.
All right.
Get all these 3 great recipes, then come make his own. I'm a huge dork that way. I'm never satisfied. I always have to ask myself that what if question.
Right. Could I do it? Yeah, I need to know.
What happens if I do that? Well, what if I caramelize the beef first? What if I don't caramelize the beef? What if I caramelize it halfway? What if I throw some pork in there?
It's a
What the
sign of a
fuck?
great
Why
chef
not?
because again, every day you're handed something that you might have to pivot. You might have to pivot.
Yeah.
And you have to sit there and be like, oh, I don't have that ingredient, but I can do.
That just can't be. I'm shut down. I can't do it now.
Yeah,
It's like, well, what are the options, right?
Because the guests still keep coming in.
Yeah,
And you
the
have to
business
do
we're
something
in,
to
the
that.
show must go on. And you have, like I used to teach my professional chefs, but now I teach my students. You got to have a plan in mind or else just go back to bed. You're fucked. But you have to know your plan is out the window at any point in time. And you need to stop, evaluate, and keep it fucking moving. But still be proud of what you put out there. But you're never going to walk in and be like, I have everything I'm supposed to have. All the time I need. No cook called out. No dishwasher didn't show up. No server had a meltdown.
Shout out to the dishwashers. It's
Oh,
most
no.
Love the
underappreciated,
dishwashers.
hardest job in our industry.
I had a
harder than
dishwasher.
management, harder than
I had
anything.
a
Shout out to our
dishwasher start
dishwashers.
today, and right in off the street, first day, and he banged shit out. I mean, there was no, this is too tough. There was no, I'm
That's a
leaving
trooper.
it there. He was like, what else can I do for you? And it's like those are the people we like to surround ourselves
definitely.
with, and you can see that almost right away. You can almost see the people that that they just want to do well, and it's not like they're kissing ass for anything. It's not like they're sitting there trying to get a leg up. They're literally just like proud of what they do, and that's what I love seeing that kind of shit. I wish people like Lou would be more proud of what he did. I mean.
It would almost be a thankless job if I don't go out of my way to make sure I thank him every single day. And I know you do that. That takes me. When we first started, you had mentioned that you've worked in some kitchens where chefs would throw frying pans, and you would never want to grow up in that sort of environment. And I had a manager wasn't the owner of a place, and he was he just wasn't nice to be around. Okay, always screaming and hollering, always everything's wrong, nothing's ever good. And I left that place. I went up working somewhere else at one point, and I was so 5 years of this kind of this PTSD.
Yeah, you get jaded. It's definitely PTSD.
Someone thanked me after the shift, and I thought they were being sarcastic. I didn't even know how to take the compliment. Someone was just like, "Hey, thanks today." I'm like, "Fuck me by that." Like, and I was mad. I was mad. I was like, we go outside right now. He's like, thank you. You worked really hard today. Like, thank you for doing that. I'm like, oh, seriously? Like, I just wasn't even used to it. And I knew then, like in 2007, whatever my career path was going to be, I was never going to be the person that would let someone go without thanking them for working.
It's one of the things we always talk about is like, we always want to create the environment that we wanted to be in.
Yeah.
And that, and the beauty of where we're at and who we work for, we have a shared vision with that, where we just be kind to people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Kindness is everything. And the idea is that like, we're all in this world together. I'm not better than anybody else except for Lou. But we're all in this together.
Tell time.
And listen, I'm on my time.
You're on borrowed time.
But like, you sit there and there's no reason to yell and scream.
No.
There's no reason to sit there and
you're yelling and screaming at someone.
My voice. I'm doing.
You're telling more
wrong.
about yourself than you're saying about the person you're yelling at.
Yeah.
A lot more about yourself.
So, just to circle back a little bit, what do you like to do on your days? Multiple days off.
On my back-to-back days off, I read a lot. I'm big into fantasy science fiction. But I just read a great book. Shout out to our friend Delaney for recommending it. Confessions of a Sociopath, which is a memoir, and it's not
Sounds like a chef book.
It can be applied to a lot of people.
The parallels in that book to I think it's almost like ever since maybe Big Bang Theory, a lot of people like to say like, oh, I'm probably autistic, or like the way I'm kind of polarizing and stuff like that. Like, I might be a sociopath. Like the way you just kind of only see I surround myself by people I have value in, people that, how do you benefit my life? And if you don't, do I really need you in it? The way that you can just compartmentalize emotions and feelings and hey, I could be grieving right now, but now I can't, so I'm not. And just turn it off and move on to something else. And that was really eye-opening. So I do read a lot. When I'm not reading, I'm usually probably either writing songs or playing really bad covers of, punk rock songs.
I can say this, and Lou, I don't know if you noticed, but I like to break your balls a lot.
No, I've never noticed that once, actually.
But I can say this, your originals are very good.
Okay.
And your covers are very good.
Oh,
and
thanks,
you've
Sean.
turned me on to songs through your covers. Oh, sorry. You've turned me on to songs, through your covers that I probably never would have experienced. Your interpretations of them have just been oh man, that's actually pretty cool. And hearing, even just hearing the emotion and how you sing some of your songs, you're very talented. And if you ever were to seek another career, I would hope that you would want to be something artistic like that.
I appreciate the rare kind words from you, buddy. Thank you today. I'm sure.
Dylan, did that all record? Because I think we're gonna have to
cut that part out of the show.
He doesn't know what to say. Look at him.
No,
he doesn't know what to say right now.
Me? I'm good at putting myself over, but when I start actually getting compliments, I'm like, all right, dude, whatever.
Especially for me, believe me, it's few and far between.
Just fucking,
No, I just seriously watched your whole demeanor change. He was like,
yeah, well, yeah.
Fuck, what do you now?
Yeah, see, I don't know how to pivot from that. Other than that, I watch wrestling with my kids and play video games and do Star Wars shit. And
you guys ever fall into the opposite hole though when you stare on your day off and you?
Sean's been in the opposite hole plenty of times actually.
Usually I say oops, but I thought it was in the other one. But you never know.
You all use that excuse. But now, I will find myself. Actually, I just did this earlier this week. My TV, I got to turn the TV on and then grab the cable remote. Okay? TV's on, nothing's on, and I realized I sat there for 45 minutes like this.
If this was one of those found footage horror films, and you were just watching Jenna stare at someone, and you'd be freaked the fuck out. You see time lapse happening, and you're like, "What's going on right now?"
Now, in my mind, I got 90 things. I'm trying to let them all pass through, and I'm
JD from Scrubs. There's a whole fantasy scenario happening right now.
Same thing, you have cable, you have 9,000 channels, and you spend 45 minutes just looking to see what's on.
Oh, I'm worse. I'll put something on and just do this the whole time. Watch TikToks. So I'm listening to the show I'm watching.
So I did this. I know, Lou, sometimes I'm a trend setter. Not a follower, but I set trends. I do things, and also I see other people doing it. Back in 2012, Okay, when I was or 2014, when I was still married at the time, but we were going through the process of separating, stuff like that. I unplugged. Okay, I cut the cord, or as they say, and I turned to my ex-wife and I said, you know what, you know, I don't like just sitting down in front of the TV and just like doing that. Like, if I'm going to watch something, I watch it with a purpose. And I started that way back then, and I'm pretty good at that now. Where it's like, if I'm turning the TV on to watch something, it's because there's something I want to watch. Now, lately, I've been almost exclusively watching a lot of YouTube stuff, and I just go down these rabbit holes of like different types of different content,
Just different shows on the YUNKJunk channel. Just
like YUNKJunk, but like, one of the things that's been really funny for me these days is like Karen videos, or like police chases and stuff like that, and like dumb criminals.
I like videos of seeing auditors get hit and assaulted.
Yeah,
dude, it's so awesome.
But can't do that to me.
Rights, you won't do it, and then someone does it, and I'm like, fucked around, found out.
but like, yeah,
love that shit.
So when I cut the cord, it's like I have to be deliberate about it. And nothing. That's gonna kind of lead me into another topic that we all kind of talked about. I'm a nerd. 1984 Revenge of the Nerds. I'm a nerd. And like, we had a conversation we broke into the other day, and we were just talking about like science fiction stuff. Like, I love science fiction. I always have. I can remember from when I was a kid seeing E.T. for the first time, and seeing Close Encounters of the Third Kind for the first time.
Close Encounters was such a good movie. We never talk about that, actually.
Right. I mean, there's some, like, there's a lot, and
I learned how to play that sound on my keyboard when I was like 9 years old from Close Encounters. Yeah.
But and then of course, I can remember being at the Eric movie theater on Bustleton Pike, up by Bustleton and Street Road, to see Revenge of the Jedi. And it was like I don't remember seeing Empire. I was only like 4 years old, I think, at the time. But I remember seeing Revenge of the Jedi in the theaters, or Return of the Jedi. Wait, I say Revenge of the Jedi because
that was the original. That was the original.
My brother Chris.
Revenge was never a Jedi trait. So
my brother Chris had an original patch.
No.
With Revenge?
I swear to God.
Holy shit.
Because he had denim jacket or something like that. But he had a patch, Revenge of the Jedi. My hand to God, Chris, you know about it. If you still have it, show me. But like,
still have it, sell it.
But like, it was like one of those things where it's like, I knew that story way before it even came out. Wow. But like, I've always had that nerd in me that just, I love stories. I love stories. Blade Runner. Seeing Blade Runner for the first time, and just like looking at that imagery just took me away. And then you get into more up to date times, like we've talked about Battlestar Galactica,
best sci-fi series ever.
When that got released,
Katie Sackhoff, I love you.
Oh, I would. What I would do, like, I can't even watch like Star Wars: The Clone Wars and hear her voice, and I'm like,
the blind shot. While I watch this Star Wars cartoon,
exactly. But it's like literally, like I remember you were actually, we talked about this before. You were the one who turned me on to it. It was you and Ryan Moody, and we were standing outside. We were talking about top 5 shows, and he brought up Battlestar Galactica. And I was like, Battlestar Galactica, like from 70s? They're like, no, you gotta see this. And I watched it like straight through for like a week.
Done so
and I was like, oh my.
First of all, the first thing to notice, and it's not like the most undertone, but like it's a spaceship style sci-fi like drama adventure. No aliens.
Yeah.
So it like regardless,
it humanizes it.
It's almost like the way The Walking Dead is like, it's not really so much about the zombies, it's about the human condition. They just use the zombies or the spaceship to kind of like just draw like to set the tone for it. But
even
it's
like
really
political stuff
that
went on in
happens
there.
to be set in space.
Yeah,
it just happens. Right, exactly. It's
Edward James Olmos, when he signed onto it.
Oh, dude, no one else could be him. No one else could play that.
One of the things he said,
no one else could play Donna.
Really, one of the things that he said to me was like, "Listen, there can never be an alien. The first time I see some weird 4-eyed alien, I'm going to faint on screen, and he can say I died, and I'm going to.
I remember reading about that. Yeah,
I'm going to be on a plane going home.
Dude, he was fucking perfect. He's one of those actors where when you see people like you've seen them in shit, but you can't name them. He was one of the first guys like, no, I'll actually remember him. Like,
oh yeah. Well, I mean, very distinctive, look to him, and You know, but
I remember him back from being in Miami Vice back in the early 80s.
Yeah, he was the captain or something like that. Miami Vice.
Before my time.
Yeah, I was right there. You know,
you mean the movie that came out a couple years ago?
Are you telling me you never had a pastel shirt with a white like suit that you rolled the sleeves up?
I've 100% rocked white blazers with jeans and like a button up, but never.
That Phil Collins Genesis intro.
You never wanted a Ferrari? Come on, like.
A crocodile.
I had different 80s shows. Like, listen,
I was
growing up, and I A-Team. You know, I was an A-Team kid.
The movie's actually underrated from my
never saw the movie.
It got panned a little bit. You know, Colin Farrell was in it, and they had some. But you go back and rewatch it these days, and for what it is, which is just
campy
like a dumb, movie. Campy, like lots of violence. There's a cop who drives a Ferrari. Yeah, okay, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know,
he's not on the take.
Yeah, absolutely. No. He's
Miami cop. Yeah,
Miami cop. He never went skiing before.
Sure, right.
Something like that.
I think the best 80s spin-off movie they ever made was probably 21 Jump Street when they did that, because that was
hilarious. But again, even that wasn't like a remake of it. It was kind of an extension because they were like, we're bringing back the Jump Street program.
Crew.
And the best part of that is when who's the guy who plays Ron Swanson?
It's Jonah.
And he's like the character. He's like the address is like 28 or 36 Jump Street. He's like, oh no, I'm sorry, it's 21 Jump Street. Like it's like, oh, cool, you had to say it, you know. But yeah, science fiction's always been something that's, you know, me and my brother, you know, my cousin John, my neighbor Pat, like we just grew up with these like great visualizations of like these movies that were just like took us away. And again, that gets back to what we were talking about before. When I need a mind melt where I just don't want to think about something, I throw on like Star Wars. I throw on
I've watched
Battlestar.
So many Star Wars reruns over and over and over. Sometimes on a daily loop.
Yeah.
I'll watch like Empire Strikes Back today. Tomorrow, I'm gonna watch Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Fun fact about me, I've seen Spaceballs before I saw Star Wars. And
Great
still thought
movie.
it was the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
So you weren't even like totally clued into like,
I wasn't even
SWATs?
Right. Wasn't even included in the half the shit that was going on.
That's still,
it was still fucking
standalone.
Great.
It's still a phenomenal movie.
I mean, not yet, sir. Man, we ain't found shit. Sir, are we being too literal when you said comb the desert?
That movie's so awesome.
The ace comb.
They had the pick.
And the pick. Or like the greatest quote of all time that you could still use in the restaurant industry today. I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Yeah, I mean,
they need to bring movies like that back. It's so hard to do
unapologetic,
anything.
just goofy.
I think it's going to turn a little bit. I think, and there's a lot of talk about this. The Tom Brady roast. Everything
was on the table then.
Exactly. But I think, you know, in this whole big comedy scene that's happening down in Austin, which I definitely, if you ever want to surprise me with a little love getaway from me and you, like Austin, Texas, I would probably put out. And like literally like the way that like
I would
Shane Gillis,
you would film it too. Nice.
Everything's just taking me on the trip.
I was gonna say something different, but like Shane Gillis and all these comedians out there, like where it's just like no, Dave Chappelle. I mean, you can't be canceled. Like this whole idea to like we can laugh, we can have fun.
Well,
it's not all. Like you don't have to be offended. You fuck.
I still subscribe to the philosophy that when it comes to comedy, you should be able to joke about everything. Nothing should be off limits at all. Nothing should be so taboo to where like, oh, I can't say it, because now that's what free speech is about. You're supposed to be able to talk about or joke about the worst of things just to make sure that I could say it, right? That's how you actually prove that the First Amendment's an actual real thing.
That's why I fucking hate snowflakes.
Do you know what's I also find too, the industry we're in, I think is one of the last places where, for the most part, you can get away with saying and doing almost anything.
Well, Backhouse for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely Backhouse.
Definitely Backhouse.
Not that weird Funhouse.
We've had to monitor that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there is a point you can't cross, but to me, I must deal with that. Depends on where you're at, what's your situation, what your relationship is. My like sous chef or like my dishwasher, I said a lot of times my dishwasher is more important to me than my cooks.
Completely agree.
We have said stuff that, God forbid, if that was mic'd, oh my God, we're both probably getting killed, jailed, canceled, everything above. I'm never
Yelp
working
would
again.
Be brutal.
But I love this person and would die for them. And I had
greatest episodes
one
of South
really good
Park.
friend. And now listen, I am not racist, anything at all, but I do like to laugh and see the things
Right.
in life that are just so funny.
Mhm.
And we do need to be able to laugh at them. One cook I had, we worked together a couple different places over years. We would say the most funniest, ridiculous stuff to each other. But like I said, God forbid somebody else would have heard it.
Out of
But,
context and not known.
But in
right.
context, we are having a ball. We're putting out literally thousands of portions of food because the last place we worked together, I was one of the last places I was running Penn's Landing Caterers, and we're doing like thousands of portions, and it's just me and him in there 19 hours straight, and we're just cracking up, having a ball the entire time, still doing phenomenal work, but laughing at each other. Someone else would walk into the room that we don't have that relationship with. All of a sudden, it's like a quiet kitchen.
Right.
Because you're so afraid to offend someone in this day and age. But in the kitchen, sometimes you can be like, kind of like we're sitting around here. You just got done talking about fucking them to go on a trip. God forbid somebody else heard that. Well, everybody's going to hear this, but
Again, but
all 7 of our viewers are going to hear this right now. I hope none of them are offended.
again, shout out to my Aunt Pat, my godmother, who I hope doesn't watch this. But yeah, I mean, listen,
Mom, do not clue into this.
That's the thing is that we have to somehow as a society get back to the fact that laughter is so important. If I go a day without laughing or making somebody laugh, that's not a good day for me. And
It makes me
Mel
feel better. I
Brooks
laugh
should
at you
tell
a
us
lot,
all what to
so.
do.
So I'm going to sit there and say, we usually have a couple different segments we talk about on here, Joe. And usually one of them is Bar 101. And there's something Bar 101 that I like to bring up. That something I noticed that, I experienced firsthand the other day was, when you're out with somebody, like when you're out with a group of people or something like that, and somebody, somebody goes out of their way to be nice to you and kind to you and like buys a shot for you or something like that. It doesn't always have to be a shot for a shot back.
No.
And I was out with somebody a couple weeks ago, and it wasn't you, it was somebody else who was like
timing,
it was,
no good.
It was almost like they thought it was a
Not killing
competition
Austin.
that no, you just bought. And it's like no.
Just buying a shot.
We're just having fun.
Just a high.
When
just
we're
say, how you
out,
doing?
when you're this is Bar 101. When you're out, it's not a competition.
Accept the compliment.
Either accept a compliment or just be like, hey, cool, like you did this, I'm gonna do that. Like it's not a competition.
If we gotta keep track, we're not friends.
Yeah.
That's
a good
I
point.
like that. I'm gonna steal that one.
That's a
from
good
you.
point.
And Lou, I'm gonna keep tracking you all the time.
Kind of like
Well, I'm going to start having you keep track of time.
this has actually happened to me. I texted a friend, hey buddy, let's go out for a few drinks. I don't have any money. I didn't ask you if you had any money.
Yeah.
I asked you if you only got for a couple drinks.
Yeah.
Now today, maybe I got the money.
Right.
Maybe tomorrow you're asking me, I'm like, I don't have any money. But it's not about the money. I wanted your company.
Yeah.
I enjoy your company. My pockets are full today. I got the drinks. Don't
My
worry
pockets
about it.
might not be full next time.
Yeah.
Right.
So like
gotta
it's not a competition.
Someone had a
Just-
quote before. It's definitely not mine. I forget who it was. But it was like never eat with people you wouldn't starve with.
Yeah.
And it's the same mentality. It's like, if one of us are eating, we're all eating. If
they didn't starve with me, they're not feasting with me.
Right,
And that's
exactly.
weird because, like I said earlier, like I just got this big grant. I had about over a decade of me doing that little side business going into Native American foods. I'll be honest with you, first 8.5 years, no one gave a fuck.
Of course.
No one at all. Other chefs I talked to were like, dude, you're crazy. Who cares about Native American food? Now you got James Beard Award winners. It's a big thing now. A lot of people that told me I was fucking crazy are hitting me up. And I'm like, you weren't there to support me. Not like I'm holding a grudge, but at the same time, these other people supported me. I got people I met along the way, some recently that were like, same mentality. Hey, how can I help? How can I get involved? What you're doing is cool. And I did the same. Like, hey, I don't really understand what you're doing, but I see the value in it. Let me learn a little bit more about what you're doing. I'll bend over backwards for those people. People 10 years ago, 5 years ago, like, dude, you're fucking crazy. And all of a sudden, hey, how can I get in on that? I'm like,
Oh, the math equation there is
maybe
interest.
call somebody else. Because when I tried to get you involved, you basically told me I was fucking nuts.
Yep.
Interest level plus passion will equal success.
Definitely.
So, and then when you have that, and you have like, again, either some combination of that, either you have the passion, maybe someone doesn't have, they don't know enough to be interested in it, but now I'm interested in it, but I don't know about it. But when you get those three things together, those two things together, you're going to get success.
I still find it weird. My son brought this up to me because I took him on the very first educational thing I ever did. Went down to Virginia. I was asked to go down there and do this big speech. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. Scared out of my mind. I was around doing. He
like Virginia or like Virginia?
Richmond.
I mean, it's
Richmond.
like,
Okay. Yeah, Richmond.
So he brought up the
mountains.
fact. Do you guys know what fry bread is?
I do, because I had it when you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what fry bread is?
No.
All right. So it's this. Quick way to explain it. It's a bread that can be made in 10 minutes and deep fried. It can also be grilled, baked, whatever. It's linked to Native American culture, but it's more like a starvation type food. They were given rations and they had to figure something the fuck out. They did. It's phenomenal. It tastes great. It's very bad for your health if you're eating it 3 times a day to subside.
So can I get the recipe?
Yes, I will give it to you later.
Just like with a bottle of wine.
Just like eating a cheesesteak 3 times a day is not the best thing for your health. Okay. But he's like, yeah, Dad, you were so nervous about that, and you were like making batches of fry bread in the hotel. I brought my stand mixer with me. I pulled out the ironing board. I got the stand mixer on top of the ironing board. I'm grabbing water from the sink trying to make dough. And he's like, you were so upset and so nervous. And he's like, that was like a year and a half ago. And now you're going to schools and colleges and like, teaching about this stuff. And I'm like, kid, the passion has to be there. And don't give up on your goals. I actually forgot why I started telling the story, but still don't give up on your goals.
Happens to us all the time.
But
who has no goals?
And Sean has no memory, usually forgets about things.
But yeah, it's so weird. So I said, first 8.5 years, no one fucking cared. And now it's a big thing. And it just tells me that when you have that passion, a lot of times, yeah, you're not going to get paid. No one might care. No one's going to be in your corner rooting you.
Not early on.
Yeah. But just keep with it, keep with it, keep with it. And then somewhere along the way, I still on a daily basis think I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing with that whole Native American food. But somewhere along the way, I also became the guy with my own style doing it. And I became the guy that other people ask. This is actually kind of cool. I was searching on fucking YouTube, Native American foods, and I popped up.
No shit.
Yeah, I was so geeked out. Again, no one in my house cared at all whatsoever. But I'm like, I'm on YouTube. I'm going nuts. And they're like, that's cool.
Guy Googles himself.
Yeah.
Something I would do, actually.
I actually did that.
Lou has done, and I'm going to ask that nobody Google me because I'm afraid what might show up.
All 3 of those things are still less scary than the things Sean actually does Google, though.
Like what?
Nope.
So on that
Clear
note,
history.
we're going to hit the 86 list, Lou. What are you 86 in today?
Oh God. You threw me on the hot seat for this one. I'm going to 86 bitching about the heat.
We talked about
yeah,
that.
we talked. I'm going to 86. Listen, it's summertime. We're starting our first heat wave today, folks. It's 91, 92 now. It's going to hit 99, might hit 100. You got to ride it out. Same thing I tell kind of like the staff in the restaurant. Sometimes you have to be able to adapt. Okay. It's going to come. It's not going to be exactly what you want it to be at all times. You got to roll with it. Okay.
Quit
So
bitching about it. You can't control it.
Quit bitching about it. 86 bitching about the heat. Instead of, fighting against it, find ways to embrace it. Have a Corona in the middle of, in a streetery, or maybe inside actually. Get some John's water ice, just roll with it.
So for the bar with that, do you guys change, like, I don't know if you have like a amount of drinks where you kind of cut someone off, like with
Well, you always
Sean
have to
gets
serve
cut off
responsibly.
after his 16th, usually.
16th, 16th?
Yeah.
Okay.
It depends on. So I listen. I like to be able to be served responsibly. Sometimes I get overserved, and it's not my fault.
When he's home drinking alone,
So-
he gets overserved.
I do overserve myself a lot.
I think what I would like to 86 is people bitching about shit.
Okay.
Just shit in general, because I just, if you complain about stuff, like, then don't do it. Don't experience it. Like, if
you have the option.
if
Opt
you don't
out.
like traffic, stay home. Like, if you don't like food experience, guess what? Don't go out to the restaurant. And on that note, Lou, I think it's about time we 86 the show.
86th in the show today. I want to thank our guest, not just our guest today, but our guest host today, Chef Joe Rocchi. Thanks everyone on the YUNKJunk channel. See you next time, Philly.
Peace.
Peace out.
YUNKJunk!